Well, hello everybody. Cloris Kelly here. So excited to continue this series of influence interviews. And what we're talking with entrepreneurs who are growing their business just like you. And they're sharing their struggles as entrepreneurs, but also their expertise, which I feel will be very relevant to you. And today is a very special and important topic, which is how to master the tech, how to tame the tech monster with our expert Anka Herrmann. So I'm excited to get to know more about her and also some tips to help you then succeed with the technology in your business. So let me tell you more about Anka. Anka is a business coach and tech monster whisperer. She's an author, podcaster, dog lover, and in 2004, she quit her IT job in the UK to start her own business in Spain. Today, she bridges the gap between business and tech to help passionate but tech-frustrated entrepreneurs, authors, creatives, coaches implement their ideas and build a flourishing business. And she brings actually a copy of her book at ankeherrmann.com/influence, which you will see underneath this video, or if you're listening, then in the show notes. So welcome, Anka.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, excited to have you. The first question I have for you is, what inspired you to start this business? Why focus on technology?
Yeah, it's actually taken me a while to come around to bring the technology in. And the reason was that my background before I started my own business was in software development. So I'm a geek. I was a coder, I'd write code and I'd speak to clients, and it was mostly sort of workflow applications. And then I left all that behind to move to Spain and do my own thing. And when I came to a point where I thought I wanted to focus on helping other people turn their passion into a business, what I noticed was that a lot of people are very enthusiastic about the business they want to build, and they're really passionate about it, and they have a lot of, let's call it, visionary ideas, like, oh, I'm going to do retreats, and I'm going to have online courses, and I'm going to then have like in-person events, whatever. But when it comes to actually make that happen, there's this like, oh, I don't know, like how to do an online course. And then they start Googling, and then they're like, well, I don't know what to, I don't know what I need. There's so much stuff out there. And so quickly there's a sense of overwhelm, and there's a sense of information overload. And it feels like online tech quicksand, right? When you kind of find an answer to one problem and 3 others open up, and you kind of get lost, and people throw their hands up in frustration. And I've seen so many ideas, so many brilliant business projects that never saw the light of day because they somehow got lost in that online tech quicksand. And yeah. I was like, yeah, but that's the easy part. So I can help you with that. So it was really to notice that people were struggling with something that I think, well, yeah, my background helps me help you over that hurdle, so we can make sure that your passion business actually sees the light of day.
Yeah. I love that. I love how you realized that something that came naturally to you was actually hard for people. I think that's hard to do. Sometimes we have a gift, right? We have something that we do is second nature to us, and that's our gift. And you realize that, and that's why you're helping so many people. So I love that. Now, Anka, what would you say is the most common struggle people have when it comes to technology? Because you mentioned online courses, you mentioned retreats, all those things. What is that first thing that kind of stops people from moving forward?
Well, what stops people is really that they, I think, very quickly become acutely aware of how much they don't know, right? There's a sense like, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what to ask. And there's also that sense, I don't know who to trust, right? It's a little bit, it always feels like if you're a woman, you take your car for a checkup, right? So you always have that sense, well, the moment you let on that you don't really understand about cars, boy, you know, you're all of a sudden your brakes need replacing, and you know you're going to be taken for a ride. You know, you're going to be basically paying 3 times, you know, what somebody else would pay, and makes you feel really vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think that problem that you kind of aware that you don't really understand how it all works, and there's just so much stuff. And even if people are brave and kind of, okay, let's just figure out how one thing works, you know, they come back 3 months later, everything has changed, and there's constantly that sense of having like the carpet being pulled out underneath your feet. So there's this like unsettled, unstable, vulnerable sensation that people hate with a passion, and I can understand it. And it's the hard part is that they don't even know what questions to ask, don't know what to ask, and they don't know who to ask, so that they can be sure that they actually can trust that person, and they won't be getting sold something that they don't really need.
Yeah,
So it's really that vulnerability.
I love that, because it's true. If you're not educated, if you don't even know what to ask for, what features to ask for, how can you find the right solution for you? So that takes me then to the process that you use to work with your clients. Can you walk me through maybe an example, or maybe a process that you always follow to help people, you know, make the right decisions and take control of the technology?
Yeah, I mean, there's really one basic rule for this. It's you know, let's just slow down to speed up, because when technology feels messy and overwhelming, it's usually a sign that people are looking to make a decision about tools way too early, right? Because when somebody comes, and let's take the online course, it's a beautiful example because it really applies to a lot of people. And so the idea is somebody says, oh, I want to do an online course. What platform? And I don't know how many times I've responded to questions in a Facebook group, and people then go in Facebook groups and say, hey, what's the best online course platform? And next thing you know, there's 70 answers, and everybody naming all the platforms under the sun. And my reaction is always, well, kind of that depends, right? So let's just take a step back. I can't tell you what the best platform for you is, because what that is really depends on a number of factors, and functionality is only one part of it. The thing to look at to start with is really, okay, you want to do an online course, who is it for, right? What is it? What's the outcome? What's the problem you solve? What is, and most importantly, what's the experience you want to create for your client, right? And that's usually the moment when people look at me like, what? You know, I've not yet come across somebody who's asked the question about the best platform who had spot on solid answer to those questions. Like, people don't know, right? So if you think about, okay, what's the topic? What is it that you want to teach to who? Now, how do you want this to work? Okay, so they come in here. Now what? Well, do you want them to have access to everything at once, or do you want to, you know, have a group call to go with it and have this kind of rolled out week after week? Do you want to offer one payment, or do you want to have some kind of payment plan? Do you need them to have access to you personally? Do you want the people who take the course, do you want them to know each other? Do you want them to interact in some way? Do you want to build a community around that? And you know how you can already tell all these questions actually then translate into functionality that you look for in a platform. So really the question, like, what is it that you want your client to experience, and how do you want all of that to work? That's what informs the list of criteria, and that's your functionality. So let's just take a step back and work through those, because then all of a sudden you can create a short list out of 50 platforms. You come down to 3 or 4 really quickly that have the functionality that you're looking for. And the next part is, well, okay, what else have you got? Right? So if some platforms will say, oh, we are an all-in-one platform, you don't need a website, but what if I already have one, right? So that's also something to take into account. What other elements of technology are you already using? So a platform that offers a website may be super attractive when you haven't got anything yet. If you've got your website, you're not really interested in that. So that's another thing to take into account. How easily does it integrate? How well do all the elements play together? Does it integrate nicely with what you already have? Right? So there's all these different questions. And so what I do with my clients, we work through those. And then at the end of that, the best platform is kind of like pretty much obvious on a plate in front of you, and it becomes a really easy decision, maybe between 2 or 3, where you then go, oh yeah, I like this one better, and maybe whatever little trade-off you have to deal with, that some functionality is only available at a higher plan, and that may not be worth it right now, whatever. But it becomes a much easier decision than if you sort of walk in there and have this overwhelm of options and don't even know where to start.
I love that. Yeah. So just to summarize, we have 3 main steps, right? You start with the end in mind. You decide the functionality that you need based on the knowledge of your program, your idea, which I'm thinking a lot of people who work with you might have this, ideal program, but they haven't really thought about the details of it. And that process allows them to come up with a perfect details to deliver, great results for their clients, right? And then we have know what you have, so you know whether you need the extra features. And then the third part would be to does it integrate with what you already have? When you were saying that, I actually thought about in my particular situation, I was looking for an affiliate tool, and people said, oh, you should sign up for Simplero. Simplero has an affiliate tool, but then it has landing page builder and all kinds of stuff that I don't need, I don't want, because I already have that. So it's definitely not a good match for me, but it's a great match for someone else.
Yeah. And actually, one other thing that jumps to mind now that while you were talking, is another element that is a huge factor in it. It's to consider, like, how much of a learning curve are you willing and able to take on for this, right? Because some tools, like the more powerful a tool is, the more complex it gets. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't figure it out. It just means that it may take some more time to really get your head around it and really understand and be comfortable using it. And sometimes there'll be things where you think, well, I don't really want to, take on that much of a learning curve in order to get that little extra feature. So it's also how much, and that's again, it's like, if you are tech savvy, there will be things that are an obvious easy choice for you that may not be a great choice for somebody starting out. So that thing about, okay, where are you, how familiar are you with all of that, and how much time and effort will it cost you to actually get your head around? So that's another factor that is definitely worth considering. And there's a lot to be said for familiarity, like things that you already know how to use. So that should always have, preference.
That's true.
You wouldn't want to sort of throw out something that you already know, that you kind of know how it works, in favor of the latest little tool that, gives you something extra.
It's a great point you bring up. Yes, I mean, I remember learning ClickFunnels. It took me 2 weeks. I didn't do anything else. I was just learning this tool. And at some point, I was ready to quit. I said, okay, this is not what I want to do. And then I remember trying to find somebody to do it for me. And just to do a simple opt-in funnel, they wanted to charge me, I think it was $5,000. So I said, I think I'm going to learn this ClickFunnels. I can learn it. And it was worth it, because even now, as I outsource things, because I know how to do it, I have control. I can fix things. I can find the right contractor, right?
Yeah, that's such an important point, because it's while I always talk about, you learning, yes, I'm absolutely aware that not everybody is going to want to take on these tasks, but I definitely agree with you. It's so important to take ownership of the technology and not do the, I don't want to deal with it, you do it. That's not a great place to come from. It's if you need to understand enough to be able to outsource, to be able to kind of put together reasonable requirements and understand the question that comes back, and to be able to actually recognize a great service provider when you see one, right? So definitely And yeah, and I know, I mean, I've used ClickFunnels for a while, and it's that thing, it's powerful, but there is a learning curve associated with that, you know,
Yeah,
and people
exactly.
get blended or sucked in by that, build your website in 3 clicks, no experience required, or no coding required, that make it, I think they make it difficult in a sense that they make it sound simple when, it isn't usually that simple. The complexity goes somewhere. So if the
Right.
tool's powerful, it's going to be, coming out and biting you in the butt sooner or
That tech
later.
monster is gonna come out, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So now, Anka, I was thinking, we have all these tools, right? And there are new tools constantly coming up, and I feel like many of your clients might feel a little bit overwhelmed because they start to question themselves. Do I have the best, or do I need to switch? How do you help them go through that? Like, how to, I guess, overcome that desire to know exactly what's going on and to have the latest tool and to feel that overwhelm.
Yeah, no, I mean the latest toy, it's definitely an issue, because I think there's so many marketing messages that come at us with always that same message. This tool is going to make you, giving you quick success, right? So I think there's always that tool provider have definitely got the idea that you have to sell the outcome, you can't sell the features. So they will always sell business success, and people get kind of pulled in there. But I always remind people, it's still a tool, right? It won't build your business for you. And I think the worst thing you can do for your business is when you waste your time chasing shortcuts, right? So you want to find a setup that works for you right now. And like, there's this famous Einstein quote, and he says, make everything as simple as possible, but not simpler, right? So that's, I think, a guideline to, there's no benefit in chasing the latest tools, right? So if you have ClickFunnels right now, and that does what you need right now, well, then you focus on building, getting clients and collaborate with people and actually do the work. So it's not in your best interest constantly scanning the internet for a new ClickFunnels alternative, right? Makes no sense. And so I really pull people back there and say, hey, remember, this is a tool, right? And if something comes out that, if ClickFunnels all of a sudden, if you're in a situation where this does no longer work for you, it no longer does what you need it to do, that's the time when you start looking, okay, what's on the market now? What else is there? Where can I take this? But when you sort of frantically chasing new tools, like this is a huge fear flag. It seems like, okay, you're trying to shortcut a natural process that, you can't shortcut.
I completely agree. Yeah. And then we're not aware of it. We just think we're doing something for the business, but instead we're just stuck, right? Trying to find the perfect tool, and then time goes by, we never release our new programs, or we don't create those relationships. So yeah, that's great. So now, Anka, tell us about your book, because I love the concept. I love taming the tech monster. I would love to know what's in it, so we can get excited about it and access it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, the book was, it really was a way for me to get that message out that what looks like a tech problem never is, right? Because I think it's so sad when somebody has this beautiful, passionate cause and passionate idea, and then they give up in despair because of the tech thing. So basically, what I'm doing in that book is I'm dismantling all these little nagging beliefs that make people feel that tech is complicated, or that tech is something that is beyond them, right? There's a lot of, obviously the most typical ones are, who, I'm too old for that. Young people have it so much, pleasure of spending some time in a mobile phone shop, and I've seen plenty of young people who have no idea about technology. They have quick thumbs, but they don't understand. Like, being young and being male is not the solution. Trust me on that. So I basically dismantled these typical beliefs that a lot of people have, that like, oh, this stuff is just more than I can handle. And one of them are the beliefs, but then there's also the element of, I explain why tech can feel so difficult and so complicated, even if you, in every other area of your life, you're smart, you're switched on, you're resourceful, you're a quick learner, and all of a sudden it comes to tech and you're like, so I basically share that layer of complexity that's between your idea and the tool. Right. A little bit of what we've touched on, but there's a few other things that are sort of in the middle there. There's that's why it seems, it doesn't feel as easy as it's said to be, or as it always sounds it should be, or if it is as it looks like it is for other people. So why tech is difficult, and it doesn't mean you're stupid. So the objective really is to help people see that, how Marie Forleo's book's called Everything's Figure Outable, and I'm basically saying, hey, that applies to tech as well. You have what it takes to figure out what you need to figure out in order to deal with the tech you need to deal with. And when people get that, when there's at least that glimpse, like, oh, so it's not that I'm stupid, or it's not that I'm thick with this. When they get out of that, oh, I don't know, tech is creepy, to, let's just see how this works, right? Then all of a sudden they start to figure out things, they start to find solutions to stuff, and nothing is more addictive than progress. And it's incredible what people find themselves capable when they let go of that, little tech monster, and when they realize. And that's why I like the little dragon, because it really summarizes the whole message of the book. It's, what looks like this scary monster is really just a friendly little dragon who wants to play.
I love that. It's a complete reframe of your perception of technology. I see it as a powerful empowerment tool, really, to help you gain control of your business and just get things done, get things implemented, Anka. So just to remind everybody, is at ankaherrmann.com/influence. We'll have a link underneath this video. So that is awesome. Now tell us, what are you excited about in your business? What's next for you, Anka?
I'm actually, I sometimes feel a little bit like the Energizer Bunny kind of rabbits. I'm a little bit constantly on creative overdrive, but so yeah, I'm really passionate to get that message out into the world. So for me to get to speak on summits, to be on podcasts and conferences, and so there's like loads of projects in the pipeline where I'm out there to let people know that, hey, the tech monster is really a friendly little dragon. And I'm also working on an online program that's based on the material of the book.
That's very exciting. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be awesome, because it is a companion for the book. You agreed to get this done. So that is awesome. And then actually I have one more question for you. And this is more of a general question that I love to ask my guests. And it's when it comes to overcoming challenges as an entrepreneur, what is it that you tend to do, Anka? And we know we've faced so many challenges lately as a world, but also as entrepreneurs. I mean, technology is a hurdle, is a challenge. So what do you do usually to overcome challenges?
There's one thing that I really learned in software development, and it was and it's a funny story, because I remember sitting there in the office having a programming issue, and the thing wouldn't compile, and I was sitting there like, really, I wanted to get this working before I went home that day, and I was just like banging my head against the wall, and I couldn't. And in the end, the maintenance people would come around and say, sweetheart, you've got to go. We have to close the office, like go home. And so they basically wiped me out of the office, and I'm like, and I walk out kind of grumpy thinking, oh, for God's sake, I wanted to finish this. And so anyway, I had to walk away, and I went to bed. And you know, in the very first moments in the morning when you sort of wake up, but you're not really there yet, there it was. There was the idea. And I walked into the office in the morning, boom, 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 literally 2 minutes, type it in, it compiled, off it goes. And I'm like, oh, there's something in there, isn't it? Like when it feels like I'm running my head against the wall, there is like, I can't see a solution, and I'm feeling kind of like the perspective is sort of closed in. That's a signal now. Okay, grab a dog. I've got 3. Grab a dog, go for a walk along the beach and disconnect. Make sure you walk away and disconnect. And the moment my mind settles, all of a sudden, you know, ideas come back in, and, you know, creativity can start ticking over again, and solutions become apparent. So that just stuff it and walk away. That's what I do.
I completely agree. And I love just going to the ocean, which is my favorite place to be. So I love that, Anka. So now tell us, because I know we know how to get a copy of your book, but how can we connect with you and learn more about you? I think you have a fascinating background with your creative side. So where can we go to do that?
Yeah, my main website, ankeherrmann.com. That's ANKEHERRMANN.com. That's the hub. Everything's there. There's my whole story about, you know, making flamenco dresses in Spain and all of that. So, and it's also the place to connect with me. I'm on Facebook, quite active. I'm active on LinkedIn. So pretty easy to find. But the website is really the easiest place to get in touch.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely connect with Anka. She's somebody you need to know, and you need to tame that tech monster and get things done. So thank you so much for being here today, Anka.
Thank you so much. Thank you.